Studio C. Two guys who ask, wonder what they're doing in T-Town right now. Not this. It's South Alabama's #1 podcast, Drive Time with DJ and KJ.
Good Monday morning. Welcome to Drive Time, the best, worst show ever. Ready to start another one. Good morning, LaTanya. Hot Rod's in. Good morning to you. Alan Howard. Good morning. Aaron Crawford. Good morning to you. Johnny Sims. Good morning, sir. Tracy Miller. Good morning. Jesse James. Good morning, Jesse James. Miss Karen Peters. Good morning to you. Wendy Williamson. Good morning. Renee. Good morning, Renee. Let's see. Miss Carol's in. Good morning to you. Good morning, Tracy Steele. She had a birthday over the weekend, I believe.
Happy birthday,
Hope
Tracy.
It was a good one, Tracy. The
Yes,
picture's like it
ma'am.
was. And good morning, Ashley Morris. Good morning, Kim Wood.
Good morning, DJ. How was the weekend?
Low key, man. I've kind of stayed the course since all this mess started. I hold up for the most part on weekends.
Yeah, I'm with you, and certainly don't blame you. How was it did look like you had a great meeting with the gals from Women to Women and some of that group, and of course LaShonda and that bunch of, I'll tell you what, great friends of ours and have been for a long time.
I tell you, Philip Jackson actually put that together, or he had put something together and asked me if I would come and participate. Certainly I was happy to do so. And the way this all kind of ties together, Philip and I were Little League teammates on the Indians, and we played at O'Bannon.
And that's what's behind
That's all
us.
about, yeah. So I took it back. We had a good group. I had a good time talking about the community, talking about relationships, but it was a good afternoon, and I was certainly glad that they included me in on it.
Well, I tell you what, it looked like y'all had a big time for sure. There she is. Good morning, Ashley Morris, PGP. Good morning to you, Professor. Good morning, Doug Obar. Had a good saw Doug out walking the other day and had a good conversation with the professor. And first question I asked him, I said, I love the fact that we have all these different experts in the group because they're able to drop stuff on us that we just absolutely couldn't do. And that whole deal that he dropped on us with that math and those numbers. So I told him, I said, listen, you've got to come on one morning.
Yes.
I said,
Yes.
we've got to get you in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
And of course, he agreed, and we're gonna have the professor in one morning to sit down and chew the fat with us, so to speak. Of course, Doug worked with the city of Bruton for years and years, and he was in on the Bruton TV. I want to say maybe when it all kind of got started.
I think he was. Yeah.
And so he's it's not like he's not knowledgeable about broadcast and that kind of thing. And so I definitely want to get Doug in and sit down with him, and I think it'd be a lot of fun to sit and talk with him, and of course it's a lot of fun having him in every morning. But good morning to you, Doug. Danny Smith, good morning to you. Miss Gail, good morning, Miss Gail. Good to see you this morning. Mother, good morning to you.
Good morning, Miss James.
Let's see, Melanie French, good morning. Ron McDaniel, good morning, Darren's brother. Mitch Red Ash, good morning to you. And but yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. Tell you something else I saw that you posted over the weekend that had me. I guess the only term I can use is salivating. Looked like things were good over on Connolly Avenue.
God, dog. I'm gonna tell you. I'm one of those guys.
Why did you do that?
Well, I'm gonna tell you.
No, get me wrong. I get why you did it. I mean, listen. How long did it take to sell out over there after you posted that? If it didn't take 15...
they sold out probably 45 minutes to an hour after that, and of course went back and started prepping more food and getting it ready for the afternoon run. I'm one of those, and I told you this when I went to the Chevron station here 3 or 4 weeks ago, whenever it was. I'm just such a sucker. I mean, if you post the right picture, if you have the right marketing stuff in place, you've got me. Yeah, I told you about when I wanted the 3 cold beers at the Chevron station and walked out there with an 18-pack just because of the way they had it set up and the price breaks you were getting. And I get out the car like, what just happened? Well, anyway, I saw the picture. I was sitting I was sitting in my den, minding my own business, didn't have a care in the world, had nothing planned. And I saw the picture and I said, my God. I went over to Conley. I actually got a couple of plates. I said, Hook me, I'm going to tell you something. The best macaroni and cheese I've ever had in my life.
I was just fixing to say,
God.
Man, when I read that, listen, if in case you don't see that I have liked one of those posts, you have got to text me the next time that's going on, because here's why. I love macaroni and cheese.
It's the best I've ever had.
And I'm convinced that my mother-in-law, Miss Carol, has the absolute best macaroni and cheese that there is. However, I love to go and try.
Yeah. Well, there's not a such thing as bad macaroni and cheese.
No.
So you're going to come out good.
Listen, I love the kind that comes in the powder cheese form that comes out of the box. Okay?
You're going to come out good, but I'm going to tell you something. It was Tiffany Barton's friend that had it set up, and I got that they had ribs cut up like in tips.
I saw that. Were they fried?
Well, the second batch was fried. The ones I had were grilled. They sold out the grilled ones. They didn't have time to cook, say fried. The second batch.
I can't imagine what fried.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you,
rib tips.
Great. It was great. The fried corn. They had fried corn on the cob. It was delicious. It was great. It was $8.
$8?
I'd have given them 18. Yeah, it was $8 a plate.
I saw the plate.
Oh yeah,
it was a plate full of food.
It was delicious.
Well, I tell you what,
I didn't know what I wanted to eat yesterday for lunch, but I quickly found out.
Yeah. Good morning, Jesse Rigby. Cody Fowler, good morning. Timmy Wiggins. Mitzi Roach, good morning, classmate. Chevy Ann, good morning to you. Tracy Miller, you're right. It looked delicious, and as DJ just said, it sounded like it was.
It was delicious.
It sounded better than it looked.
It was one of those deals,
good morning, Lori Woodard.
When you ate it, it was more than plenty. But I could have hurt myself. I mean, I would have eaten it until it was gone.
I think there may have been 4 plates on that picture or the video, whatever that you showed.
Yeah.
I could have took all 4 of them.
It was 3 of them. It was
okay, 3. I'm sorry.
Because I got all 3 of them. I took one to my mother and took one to Heather.
Okay.
And if I'd have gone home and eaten first, my mother and Heather would have never seen it. They would have never seen it. That was a bad call on my part.
Listen here, man. I'm going to tell you this. That looked delicious.
It was great. It was
great. I mean, it was. I sit there and I started to text you and say, man, you can't tell a brother that there's macaroni and cheese like that and beef. I mean, and rib tips and I mean corn. You can't let somebody know about that kind of thing.
It was great. It was great.
I mean,
I'm looking forward to them setting that up again.
Man, well, you got to let me know.
Yeah, they'll have me.
If I miss that, just text me and say, hey, have you seen the post?
Cooking on kindly.
And all I need to know is they've got some ready.
Yeah,
that's it.
It was great.
'Cause I'm gonna tell you, I'll go over and buy 3 or 4 plates like you did, except they'll all come back to the house.
They were great. It was great.
Man, it looked good. Good morning, Joshua Gibson. Earl Crook, good morning to you as well.
I'll tell you something I want to speak to real quick
go ahead.
before we go, and I know you'll be a little hesitant too because of the family connection. Did you see the testimonial Judy Crane put up with regards to James Brothers Furniture?
I did.
I'm going to tell you something. I mean, if that doesn't make your heart swell and make you and just only reinforce where we get to live every single day of our lives and the people we live amongst, then I don't know what to tell you. And they are not the only one, but in this instance, that was their moment. And I appreciated Judy for sharing that.
Me too.
Those type things need to get out more.
They
because
do.
It happens here. It doesn't happen everywhere. And like I said, we're so fortunate to have so many businesses and so many people who do the same things. You gonna tell me Tallulah Bells would do the same thing?
Oh,
you gonna tell me Andrew down at Weaver's would do the same thing, and so forth and so on?
Sure.
But I really appreciated Judy putting that up there, and I thought that was strong as New Road.
It was, and I will say this: that happens more often than it ever gets told.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm not just talking about with Jesse and James. I mean, but throughout our whole community.
But I'm gonna tell you what pisses me off. I'm gonna tell you what pisses me off. If something bad had happened, if it had been a bad experience, you'd get blasted for it. Anybody.
Right.
But when stuff like that happens, it doesn't get out near enough. And I would encourage anybody, if you have an out-of-the-box experience like that in a positive way, it should be shared.
Yes.
And it should be mentioned, and it should be applauded every single time.
It should. And I can tell you this, and I'm not saying this because of the family connection. I'm telling you this because it's true. I've seen that happen a lot over there.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that's that.
well did you see John Angel's post or comment on it towards the bottom?
I did not.
It was a little different deal, but he talked about when he moved here that he got his first set of appliances from it, and he's had to replace a part or two, and they were so accommodating in getting that done, and talked about the customer service. But I just wish the positive stuff got shared and promoted as much as the negative stuff. It pains me when I see somebody who has a bad experience, and bad experiences are going to happen everywhere.
That's right.
But they're real quick to put them on blast.
That's right.
And all of a sudden, the negativity turns into something that probably shouldn't, and it runs like a wildfire. But I applaud Judy Crane for making that post, and I guess applaud everybody that responded to it in such a positive sense, because that was awesome. That was awesome.
It was, and I'll give you another example of that, and I'll give this shout out to. I stopped by, I guess it was Saturday morning on the way to something to get some boiled peanuts from Greg Fleming.
I got some yesterday myself.
And,
me and Lindsay went and got some.
And when I got there, he had sold out, and he was boiling some more. So he said, look, come by the house later tonight. I'll have some. And so I did, and I didn't realize, I thought he was just going to put me a bag up. Well, when I got there, they were just coming out. So I was like, well, give me 2 bags. Well, I didn't have but $20. I brought $20 with me because, so I told him, I said, listen, give me 2 and I'll get you the 20, which I thought would be yesterday. I couldn't go for reasons you and I were talking about earlier. I'm going to see him today. But at any rate, he said, hey, man, no problem. And I mean, and that's just another, I mean, I know it's kind of a different situation, but what I'm saying is, how many places would you go or know that would just hand you that and say, yeah, hey, man, the
squirrel,
it's fine.
Yeah.
We'll see you later.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So we have a lot of great people that do great things around and community-wise, and we live in a great community. There's no doubt about that.
Greatest community in the world.
It is. It certainly is. Hot Rod says that background brings up some good memories.
I'm going to tell you, for those who may not know where we are this morning, we're at O'Bannon Park. And
old school
O'Bannon, if I'm right on this, was developed by the Kiwanis Club. And when I was a kid growing up, that's where the Little League baseball program moved to. When my brothers were playing, they started at Rotary Field.
Yep.
There where the elementary school is presently. Home plate would have sat back towards the Alamo playing out. But the Kiwanis Club developed O'Bannon, of course, made the 2 softball parts, the baseball part, the playground.
So the outfield at Rotary Field would have been towards Dr. McInnis's office?
That would have been straight away center field.
Okay.
31 would have been more in line with the right field.
Okay.
And of course, left field down towards the library.
Sure.
Somewhere in that range. But had the snow cone hut at the old Rotary Field. Bobo Weaver manned it when I was a kid. Then, of course, we moved to O'Bannon. But those are the original bleachers that were put in when O'Bannon was developed. And O'Bannon was developed somewhere around 76, 77, somewhere around there.
Well,
great place.
How many years have you heard me talk about that was absolutely the most underutilized park in Bruton? I mean, as far as, and then all of a sudden they started having the rodeo. And, then, and now I think that thing stays pretty busy.
It does, yeah. There's a lot of activity out about it. But it's another one of the nice parks that we're fortunate to have. But
we are.
Due to everything that had tied up, I thought being in O'Bannon this morning would be kind of cool. Mosquitoes aren't as bad.
I was going to say, the near as bad as they can be, for sure. Let's see. Good morning to you, Naomi Lindsay. Sandy Townsend, good morning. And talking about O'Bannon, I think there are some plans in place to try to get the rodeo arena covered. And you talk about putting on some events.
That would be a nice addition.
Man. Because I know that
costly, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I know that they had talked about wanting to put the same kind of bleachers they've got on the one side on the other side. And then once they got that done, they wanted they were looking at trying to maybe get it covered. Now, I know this was all being talked before, Corona stuff.
Yeah.
But at any rate, I do think it would be that'd be awesome to have in a place our town would certainly get the benefit and the use out of it.
Absolutely,
for sure. So, but no, I'll tell you what. In talking about things that people do and that kind of thing, we were talking about women to women earlier. If you remember, and I know you do, several years, I want to say 4, 5, 6 years in a row, women to women had a back to school drive that they would get school supplies and things for kids. And, they did a lot. They've done a lot of great things in our community as well. And, it's just, like you said, it's great to live in a community where people help people.
People helping people.
It is. And I just think, that like you said, and Tracy, she kind of pointed out too, it's the positive never gets shared and spread as fast as the negative does. It's kind of like what we talk about. A lot of times people watch this show because it's just a train wreck.
Oftentimes.
I mean, more times than not. But, everybody loves a good train wreck. But I'm going to tell you this, everybody loves a good positive story as well.
Sure.
So I agree. We should probably share a lot more of those types of things. And certainly people are to be commended. I can tell you this, I'll tell you another friend that people don't realize that, and you don't realize it until that AC goes out, and that's Joey Carter.
Oh, yeah. He saved me here a couple of weeks ago.
Am I lying? I mean,
servant's heart.
If you have problems with staying cool, he'll come take care of you. At a moment's notice.
That's a fact.
And I mean, it's just great to have that. So, Hot Rod said, "Good morning, Miss Wanda Green. Megan Ferreira, good morning to you. What was the home run distance? Was it 185?
It was 185 all the way around. And his teammate, Stephen Paul, used to hit him halfway to St. Nicholas.
He'd take
Regularly.
Yeah. Amanda O'Gwen, good morning to you. All right.
So Hot Rod played on the Braves.
So, in as much as you mentioned that, so when it moved and got moved to O'Bannon, Little League, so Big Skinny came through down there.
He did.
And why did they quit pitching to him?
Well, we usually order to start the season. We order about 12 dozen baseballs, and I'm
not trying to brag on him because of who he is.
We usually order 12 dozen baseballs to get us through the year, and after about 3 weeks of the season, thanks to Big Skinny and Larry Powell, we were down to a box and a half. So we talked. They were on the Pirates. We got with the Giants and the Cardinals. Say, look, guys, man. I mean, just walk them. We got 6 pearls left. We got to play. We got to play 3 weeks with these 6 baseballs.
You told me one time. If I'm wrong, tell me. That you told me one time you think he hit the longest ball you've ever seen hit out of that park.
It's definitely in the top 5. Definitely in the top 5. There was a mound of red clay back behind the left center field fence that we would use to rework the fields with.
Right.
And it probably sat 60 feet behind the fence. So it's sitting out there at 245, 250, and he hit it over it. It hit over. I mean, there was a noticeable mound of clay.
Right.
And it hit over the mound of clay.
And put it out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, though, he was at what?
Thank God they weren't playing catfish.
Screw you, Jenny.
Because I gave him a high five like I did to every kid who ever hit one, and catfish took it out on me that one night against the Indians.
Yeah. Melanie, I don't know what it is. I woke up yesterday morning and my voice was crazy like this. I don't know if it's sinus drainage or just what. It's not. Let me assure you, it is not the Rona.
The Rona.
I promise you that.
Did some of our teachers start back today? Speaking of.
Yes. I know the county schools.
But today is their day, right?
Well, they have to go back this morning.
Thoughts and prayers and well wishes for all of them. I mean, this is certainly a lot of it still unknown. Going to try to get this thing going again, but certainly going to keep them in our thoughts and prayers in the days ahead. And, of course, the kids as they follow up when they work their way back on campus.
Absolutely. But, yeah, and speaking of that, a lot of apprehension out there right now, and should be. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, everybody, the unknown is what people fear the most.
Sure.
So, let's see. Ron says, rodeo calling out DJ to a barrel race or bull ride, his pick. He's calling you out. I want to see that.
Well, that's going to be hard to do. See it, I mean.
You're not going to get on live animal?
I have no doubt I could do it. I'm a, fairly athletic person, but I'm probably going to choose not to do it.
Oh, man. Let's see here. Hot Rod said, yes, he did, DJ. You got a good memory. Remember Chris Petrie that pitched for the Cardinals?
Oh, yeah. Petrie dealt death off the mound. I was on the Indians, and we actually beat him 1-0 in one of the greatest games ever played down there. Yancey Jernigan, the late Yancey Jernigan, hit an inside. It was like a movie. Bottom of the sixth, 2 outs, 0-0. Jernigan hits one to the fence, stays in the park, hits one to the fence, inside the park,
touches
home
them
run.
all.
Hey, slides in the home plate. It's a bam play at the plate. Guess who the catcher was?
Who?
Kevin Ladinier. Coach Roch has the call.
Big
He's the
lad.
umpire. He called him safe. Kevin Ladinier and Benny Burt, the coach of the Cardinals, go absolutely crazy. We rejoice in our dugout as it went our way that time.
Sure.
But Chris Petrie dealt death.
Sure. Good morning, Sarge. Good morning, Mayor Lovelace. Hope everything's well with you this morning. Melanie, I wasn't thinking of wrong. No, I was just making the comment because this day and age, if you don't, people will say, hey, don't get around Ken.
That's right.
So what do they call it in school? The cooties?
You've been, in fairness to Ken's probably the safest person to be around. How many times have you been tested?
I've been tested 4. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 times.
And you've been negative each
All
time,
4
obviously.
times.
So
Yep.
Ken's good.
Yeah, I'm good. I am good. Now here's Butcher wanting to get in on the fun this morning, as you can see. So I can tell you one thing. It looks like Butcher's been playing farmer here lately. I've seen
Arm
some
hard.
Yeah, some of his posts, and looks like he's been out there having to work a little bit. That's something he's not really used to.
It's funny that that he puts fairly. Because when I think of Butch, I think foully is the word that comes to my mind.
How did I know that
the
that was
most
coming?
famous foul ball hit in the history of this town?
Yes. Will there ever be another one? Another foul ball like that?
There'll never be one that famous. No,
There can't be.
No. That was a movie in and of itself. Now it was
It
it
was.
had a very sad ending.
Yeah, that one didn't
And
go our way.
That was a tearjerker.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the most famous foul ball hit in the history of this town.
Sure. Good morning, Jennifer Gugler. No, it didn't go our way. You were talking, I don't know, last week, a couple weeks ago, back when Miller and Andalusia used to get with it.
Yeah.
And it seemed like every year it was, one year it bounced our way, the next year it bounced their way. Those were some games back in those days. I think Miller and Atmore was the same way for a while.
We played Andalusia my junior year, and that was the first time that we picked back up the series after it had been suspended for 7 or 8 years for different reasons. And I'm going to be real close. I may not be exact, but we had not beaten Andalusia since the 60s in football. I mean, they just owned us. And we had some good teams during those times.
Sure.
They owned us. Well, anyway, in 86, we were beating them by 4 or 5 points with 7 seconds to go in the game. Playing up here at Municipal Stadium, South End Zone. They've got time for one more play. Lane Pierce is the quarterback, who I ended up being Pledge Brothers with 2 years later. They drop back. We drop back in the secondary. Hail Mary in the end zone.
I was at that game.
It's me and Grady Smith.
I remember this like it was yesterday.
I had my vertical leap, and then he had his, and he caught it in the end zone. No time left on the
Game
clock
over.
to break our heart. First game of the season.
Yep. I remember that game
That's
like it was
86.
yesterday.
Well, get this. So the curse continued. 87 the next year, we go over there. We're winning 7-0. They're at the 50-yard line. There's 3 seconds to go in the ball game. They drop back for the Hail Mary, throw it up. No time left on the clock. Doug Bell intercepts it. We have won the game. Doug's not satisfied that we're only going to beat them 7-0. We're fixing to beat them 13-0. He takes off. He gets clobbered. And I mean clobbered on the far side of the field. The ball goes straight up in the air.
Man.
They have a guy run under it, catch it in the air, and he goes 55 yards for a touchdown to tie it. We lose in overtime 14-7. So still didn't beat them.
That's tough.
That's terrible.
That's
it
tough.
It was horrible.
That is
It was
tough.
horrible.
Wow.
But that happened. Then the next year, and you'll love this because you made mention of him, and he was a great player. The next year, it looked like we were going to give it away to him again, and Tom Jernigan.
Oh, man.
Tom Jernigan finally snatched victory from defeat for the good guys, and we were able to break a 30, 35-year losing streak to them.
I'll tell you what, you talk about a ball player,
Oh, yeah.
a headhunter.
Yeah.
I've said this, and I think you obviously would know more about this. If I'm not badly mistaken, Tom was the last person to ever get the headhunter award at Miller.
You were correct, but they also quit giving it.
Well, that's what
that was
yes.
That was a Joel Williams deal.
Yes.
Yes, Tom was when Tom got to you, he was usually in a bad mood and had bad intentions.
Hey,
and you reaped it.
he did.
And you reaped it.
Yeah.
And this is a guy that played safety. Tom's 6'3", 6'4", weighed 185, 190 pounds
And
back in that, and he could fly. I mean, could run. I don't know what Tom ever ran a 40 in per se. I know this. He was as fast as he had to be.
Wow.
He was as fast as he had to be.
Wow. Wow. Yes, congratulations, Sarah and Antoine. And if he had to pick for over an hour, I assure you, Danny, that everybody was very entertained. I can assure you of that. Let's see. Butcher's want me to talk about me, don't
okay. Well, here's the difference. Mine was the first the first game of the season, non-region.
Yeah.
Really didn't mean anything.
His was the last.
Yours was for the blue map, pal. The blue map. I mean, we're fixing to win it. You snatched defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yes.
And after the foul ball, we hit into a game-ending double play.
Come on, man. Hi, Rod says, where's Doug now?
Doug lives in Doug is back in Alabama, somewhere in the Sylacauga area.
Okay.
Somewhere in the he's another one. He
Doug's another one to knock your head off, wouldn't he?
Head off.
Yeah. He had bad intentions as well.
Tom Jernigan will tell you this. This happened. Doug Bell hit Tom Jernigan on the practice field. We were on Miller Cruise practicing football. He hit him in the face, and every bolt in the face mask popped out, and the face mask came off the helmet. I mean, Tom was sitting there like he played in the 1920s. He had the shell on, no face mask. You know what Tom did? He laughed. And I'm sitting there thinking, how are you not dead? I mean, that's the way Tom was wired, though. I mean, the harder you hit him, the more he liked it. Didn't phase him.
But I want to tell you this. A lot of those guys on those teams were wired that way.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember 5-6 years ago when we had, was it the 84 team in?
Yeah.
And they were, you talk about the lineup on that team.
Oh, yeah.
And you talk about people with bad intentions.
Yeah.
My favorite story from that was when they told Eric Cole he was in charge of Hammock and Grimes.
Eric said he didn't know he could sleep with one eye open. Can you imagine? It wasn't a queen. It was a double. He's in a double bed with Hammock. Up in North Alabama on a Friday night, on a Thursday night.
Oh man!
And Judge Cole said he didn't know he could sleep with one eye open.
Yeah, but you know what? I guarantee you one thing: he was in good hands.
Nobody was going to break in that room and do anything.
Nobody. They might have. Hey, if they had of, their night would have turned into the worst night of their lives really quick.
Real quick.
Yeah, really, really quick. So, you know, I'll tell you this. That was a good. You know, that was a good time when all those guys came in and sat down and talked about that.
Yeah, that was fun.
You know, talked about the how cold it was up there. What was that, Cherokee County?
Yeah. Yep.
And
Center, Alabama.
Freezing.
It was. Yeah, I've never been that cold in my life.
And how many times did they accuse James of the story changing on? He's going to kill me if he sees this.
Well, you know, I think the last time he told the story, he broke 6 tackles. You know, after he made a leaping catch, you know, between 3 defenders. And I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to stand up for Kevin Lattimore on this one.
He'll kill me if he sees it.
You couldn't help but catch it. He put it between the 2 and the 1 through the fastball.
He did. So, so getting back to eating good and that kind of thing. As far as the weekend went, once you got through eating well, you said you kind of kept it low key. Did you manage to watch anything worth watching, or how did that go?
Well, I got a little pissed off Sunday, actually. Steve Nelson and I, we text back and forth pretty regularly, and we always talk about clips and movies that make us laugh. We're probably the only ones that enjoy that type of conversation, and it's very silly. It's very silly. Well, he sent me one of a clip from Weird Science. And I texted,
love that movie.
Before I even watched, I texted back. I said, what channel? He came back, HBO 3 or something, and I went, crap, I ain't got it. I just had the basic cable package, so I went back to Grit and watched the Western. But I was so bad wanting to watch Weird Science. I love that movie.
No, it's a great movie. If you have Netflix, if you don't, I think you.
I've got Netflix.
You need to catch the new season of Last Chance U.
Okay.
It's good. Out in Oakland, and it's good.
I'll do that.
It much better than last season's, or at least what we watched it over the weekend, and much better than last season's. Of course, it was filmed in 19, so but it was a lot better for sure. Leroy, hey, he could have dropped it.
He couldn't have dropped that one. Ladinier
it was just right in the
between
numbers,
the 2 and the 1.
Yeah,
there was no way. Now he had dropped the 4 previous ones, but he wasn't dropping that one.
So, did you see? And changing gears, did you see the SpaceX thing splash down off the coast of Pensacola?
I did not see it. I thought that was a really cool thing, but I did not see it.
I thought it was cool.
Do they still have the same parachutes like they have on Apollo 13?
They had 3 of them.
They were red and white.
I don't know. It was maybe so. The video I was watching was kind of way away from it, just showing it come down. So I couldn't tell.
So the heat shield held up.
Oh yeah, it held. And let me tell you this. That was really neat though that happened where it happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Kind of cool that kind of dropped in our neighborhood, so to speak.
I'm ashamedly out of the loop on this. How long were they in space?
I don't know. They may have said. I watched it just to see it coming down and splash down, and of course I saw the boats out there going to it and that kind of thing. But I couldn't say. Let's see. Cody Amick says, I saw Weird Science a couple weeks ago for the first time. It's way before my time, but it's definitely a favorite. Oh, yeah. I mean,
classic.
Gotta love that.
Classic.
Gotta love that for sure. What's her name? I can't think of the girl, the woman.
Kelly LeBrock?
Yes. From time to time, they'll pop up something about her on social media and that kind of thing. But great movie from the 80s. No doubt.
She was a PE teacher.
Yes, she was.
Miss Nightell looked a little different. And I love Miss Nightell, by the way. Love her.
I've not heard anything about it, Hot Rod, except Hey, I don't know. I saw where they were talking about it, and then they quit talking about it, so I'm not real sure. Yes, white parachutes with red on them.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was something to see. I mean,
cool.
it was. I wonder how. I know probably like the Blue Angels, they probably had the Coast Guard and all them out there keeping recreational boats and things away from it. I wonder how far the radius was that they had to keep away from that area. And it's amazing to me that they can make or have those things fall where they and know exactly where they're going to fall. That's just crazy. 65 days.
Wow.
At the space station. That's got to be something. So
you always worry about the heat shield.
Yeah. Let's see. 2 months. Yeah, Karen Peters, 2 months in space. So let me ask you this. In talking about the county schools starting back today with the meetings and that kind of thing, what about Bruton City? Do you know when they...
The 10th. I don't know when the teachers go back. The kids go back in the 10th.
I think the kids for the county go back on, I think maybe the 7th.
Okay.
I think they said. But here's my question. And of course, we had Dr. Varner on, had John Knott on. My question is this. You got Conecuh County and Monroe County that both decided to go virtual for the first 9 weeks. And then they're going to assess it at that point. Why are our school systems, both Bruton City and Escambia County, why aren't they looking at doing that? And maybe they are, and I just don't know it, but they didn't indicate that to me when they were in. Escambia County is back in the red now as far as, positive cases and that kind of thing. Why would we not take a step back and look at it from that angle?
We've said it many times, and number one, I don't have an answer for you, but we've said many times, these people that are sitting in positions where they have to make decisions, it's tough.
They're in a bad spot.
To say they have incomplete information is putting it mildly.
It is.
It changes every 48 hours, it seems like, and I don't know. I think you're danged if you do. I think you're danged if you don't. I just hope at the forefront of all the decisions being made is people's safety.
Well, that's where I was going. I mean, before anything, we need to look out for the health and safety of our kids, our teachers, the faculty, administrators, and all of that. Because, of course, when Dr. Varner and John were in, it wasn't the time or place to be questioning these types of things, and I wasn't going to try to. But my question is this. If you're going to get a schedule and you can't get out of the vehicle, and the board meets virtually, okay, then why are we expecting teachers and kids and administrators to go back and be amongst each other?
That's definitely a mixed message to me, and that
it is.
It is hard to get there when that is taking place.
It is, and I'm not trying to stir hate or spread hate and discontent. I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say, they're in tough positions.
Yeah.
But when you send a message like that, you're saying, well, our board members, their safety comes before the kids and the teachers and all that kind of thing. That's what that message sends, does it not?
On the surface, yeah.
And I'm not saying maybe that's not their intent, okay? Yeah. I'm not, but I'm just saying that's what it looks like.
To move it out a realm just because of the sheer numbers, what do you think is going to happen when you have Auburn or Alabama or any of these schools and 20,000 plus students all of a sudden get back on campus? And I understand there's CDC guidelines in place, but you're talking about 18 to 22-year-olds, and all of a sudden somebody taps a keg somewhere and you have 1,000 people. Bars are not going to close down. So when you bring 20,000 people plus into a confined area from all parts of the state and regions of the country, what do you think is going to happen there in terms of positive tests?
It's going to explode.
It's going to explode.
Yes.
And there's no way around that.
Connie B makes a great point as well. And I'm talking about just the direct part, of the teachers and that kind of thing. I just I don't know. It's one of those things that when you talk about bringing it back to parents and grandparents, and caregivers and things like that, I just don't know that any of that. Again, they're in bad spots, having to make these decisions. But what would it hurt to do what Conecuh and Monroe have done and say, let's go virtual let's give it 9 weeks, see where we stand?
I don't know enough about it to speak to it with a strong sense of passion, but if you have the capability to offer the virtual option, it would seem to me that would be the safest play. But once again, I don't know all the moving pieces and how they fit together, but it's going to be something to watch.
Well, let me say this, Miss Gail. I've heard a lot of people say that, but that I've looked into. Trust me. Let me say this first and foremost. As far as dealing with this virus, I would say that we were the first to start dealing with it as far as in town.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had to keep up with a lot of, what the moving parts of this. Mm-hmm. Okay. And, there's a few myths out there, and one of them being that a lot of the numbers are not Escambia County residents. That's not, I'm not trying to say you're wrong, Ms. Gill. I'm just saying, from what I understand, all the numbers you see are Escambia County, Alabama residents. So the numbers that have been posted, and that's come from both hospitals and Main Street, which is the ones giving the rapid testing. I will say this, and this came from Main Street as well. Santa Rosa County is telling all their people to come up to this Main Street to get tested. Santa Rosa County, Florida.
Why is that?
I guess because they're doing the rapid testing.
I mean, nobody else has that.
I would assume. I assume not. I don't know. But I do know that they are. I do know they're certainly telling that because when I was in there last, I sat and listened to a gentleman walk in and say he was sent by Santa Rosa County. So, good morning, Randall Mallard. Sarge, you said exactly. Let's see, they're not doing new student freshman orientation tours either. But all students are supposed to go back with 250, 300 kids. They should postpone, like Monroe and surrounding areas, do virtual. I agree. I think they should. And I think it's, I just don't think that, we know enough. I think there's too much unknown about this to say that we can safely send kids, teachers, faculty,
support staff,
and then these kids and all those folks mentioned are going to go back home to their families. And so guess what? They're in just the line of sight as well. So I just don't, I think that there's a better option right now, and I think it should be virtual.
Well, one of the things that I keep going back to, and once again, this is not being critical of the people making the decisions.
I'm not being critical.
We're just having a conversation.
Sure.
We're having a conversation. Back in March, when the numbers were next to nothing and there was no trend to play off of, everything got shut down, everybody got sent home. And my question is what has happened in a positive sense, no pun intended, that makes you think you can put them back on campus? Because if anything, the trends have been greater than we probably thought it were going to be in early March, and the situation has worsened, so to speak.
It absolutely has
since early March. So if you made the decision in March to shut it down, what has happened to make you think it's okay to open it back up?
And PGP just made another great point, which is, and how long will they make it before they have to close again? The CDC, they do say if you're exposed, you have to quarantine for 14 days. How can you follow these guidelines and stay open for more than a week? That's a great point, PGP. Great point. Connie B says they go by the home address on reporting county numbers. That's what we have been told. When we've had the two ladies on twice, and they both said both times that it goes off your address where it gets reported to.
I wonder, and my follow-up question to that would be, my son tested positive 4 times. Does he count as 4 positives, or is that all that's going to the data bank of his address and it counts 1 time?
I don't know the answer to that. Maybe somebody that does or is in that could tell us that. I don't know the answer to that question. I do know this. I do know that the CDC has said that until you have a negative test, you need to be quarantined. Okay? Mm-hmm. And so my question is number one, this, the HIPAA thing. Mm-hmm. You can't walk up and ask somebody, what kind of medical problems you have. Mm-mm. Okay. So number two, how are they going to put thermometers in faculty members' hands and say, you got to take this kid's temperature when the big thing there is, if you're not a medical professional, a nurse, doctor, any of that type of thing, then you're saying this kid doesn't have a temperature or he does have a temperature. At that point, you're personally taking responsibility saying that's the way it is.
Yeah.
I don't see where that is in any way a good thing to put our teachers and faculty members, administrators, whoever. That's not a good spot to put them in.
Bad spot.
It's a bad spot.
It's a bad spot. What is the protocol? And I know it's been mentioned here before, but there's been so much said about it and so much conversation, I can't remember what's what. Today at school, with the teachers back on campus, are they required to wear a mask?
Yes.
And will students be required to wear masks also?
Second grade through college, yes.
So if you're on campus, unless you're eating lunch in the cafeteria, your mask is supposed to be on?
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't know that they'll be, I don't know how they're going to do lunches, but I don't know that they'll be eating in the cafeteria. It's been mentioned that they may eat in the classroom.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
That they may not even change classes. Now, again, I don't know. I'm not sure. So, Melanie French says she understands it counts 4 times. PGP says each positive test is counted, not the patient.
Okay.
Jennifer Gugler points out, they said the other day 20% is the number that they will have to shut down. 20%. Now, according to Dr. Mackey, I follow him and of course, text back and forth with him some. According to him, the 20% is the flu. That's what they consider when 20% of the population gets the flu. That's when they determine to shut a school down.
Okay.
That 20% does not apply to COVID. They're supposed to come up with that number tomorrow at a meeting.
Okay.
So I'm not, I don't know what that number is going to be, but I would think that number would have to be significantly lower than 20%, wouldn't you?
I would think so, just to try to get ahead of it.
Right.
Because you know what that's going to do. That's going to mushroom.
Sure.
I mean, all of a sudden, if you see...
It's a domino effect.
If you see a spike, you better be ready to act accordingly, because it can get out of control in a hurry. And another one of the myths that can be put to rest, and we know this personally without naming names, you can get it twice.
You absolutely.
And you can be sick twice.
You absolutely can get it twice, and you absolutely can be sick as a dog twice.
That's a fact.
That's a stone cold fact. And if anybody wants to dispute that, tell them they have no idea what they're talking about. Period. End of story. That's something we don't have to ask. Mm-hmm. We ain't got to call nobody. We don't have to do any of that. We can tell you for a fact that's the truth. Okay. Mm-hmm. PGP pointed out there that the CDC now says not to retest looking for a negative. If you're positive, quarantine 10 days and you're clear.
Don't tell Stokes Jennings.
Well, let me tell you this. They may say that. But the fact is that, how many times did you say Stokes tested positive?
4.
Okay.
On his 5th test, he tested negative.
There are people out there in our community that have tested positive 6 and 7 times before they got negative. Now, does that mean they're still contagious? Who knows? Because nobody knows.
Yeah.
You know? But that's the whole issue for me. What are we sending people back into the lion's den for when we don't know if the lion is going to lay over there and not mess with you or what he's going to do? We do know this. We do know, look, here's my thing. You've got places that take hospitals, for example. Okay? A good friend of ours that we know that's a doctor just spent 5 days in the hospital with it. And they wear all the protection stuff. Okay? They don't have a choice. I'm not saying the protection stuff doesn't work. That's not my point. My point is that, you know, this is a medical professional that knows how to sterilize and all this kind of thing, and still caught it. So, I mean, I go back to what you said a while ago. What's changed since March? What happened to make everybody say, "Oh, it's fine. Let's go back to school"?
They know something I don't.
They know something I don't either. and I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't care what anyone says. And you know, my opinion is my opinion only. My opinion, we ought to be virtual at least for 9 weeks. See what happens at the end of 9 weeks. See where we're at. See what's going on, and see what's happening with these cases and the trends. Right now, we're back. Escambia County is back in the red as far as the state map. If you look at it, trending back. You know, I mean, we add cases every day.
I think that we're, as a county, I think our count's up around 950, 960 positive cases.
That's right.
Well, you can certainly expect to be over 1,000 by Friday if current trends hold.
Absolutely. I mean, let's see here. Lori Woodard said their schools say 10%.
You know, I keep going back to a number that came out, I guess it was in June maybe, which once again, everybody's throwing in their information, and people a lot smarter than I are probably making more factual guesstimates than I can make. But they said between...
We're not doctors. Yeah. We're just playing on TV right now.
I concur.
Yeah.
Between 60 and 80% of the population will test positive before this is over with.
Sure.
If you go on the low end of that, and say 60% of 37,000 people in Escambia County, that's, 18%, 18,000? And we're not at 1,000 yet? So I'm saying that to suggest this. It may be a minute before this thing's played out. Maybe a minute.
Yeah, it's, you know, there's no doubt. I mean, you know,
Wow, the deacon says their students are going to eat lunch in the classroom.
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks for the information, Deacon.
And look at that. Good luck trying to get fourth and fifth graders to keep a mask on for 7.5 hours. Hey, Deacon, that's
hey.
Listen,
impossible.
That's not going to happen. Okay, it's just not going to happen. And let me say this too. You know, everybody says, well, most kids are asymptomatic. You know, they don't get sick and they're not contagious and that kind of thing. I can tell you that locally, and this is from local testing facilities, that kids do get this and they do get very sick with it. And that's a fact. So, you know, say what you will, but I don't think there's enough information, good, bad, or indifferent, one way or the other, for us to be making a decision like what's been made to put all these people back in the same place at the same time. Because you know what's about to happen. You just said it a while ago. It's going to be an explosion. There's going to be an outbreak. And when it happens, there are going to be people that are going to be held liable for it. And I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. I'm just saying that's what
It's
happens.
going to happen, yeah.
Yeah. Because there's, this thing in the law called wanton and willful negligence. And when you just basically throw all this to the side and say, hey, let's just do this because we want to. Well, guess what? At that point in time, you're holding up a sign saying, we don't care. We're just going to be, we want to do this. My thing is, I haven't heard a good reason to send kids, teachers, faculty, administrators, whoever. I've not heard one good reason to send them back physically to school.
Well, for me, it goes back to what we just talked about. You made the decision in March based off the information you had to shut it down. What information do you have now that justifies opening it back up? Is it worse now than it was in early March? In terms of positive tests?
Well, absolutely.
Okay.
It certainly is. So, it's just one of those things that I think that Doug Omar said it. Seems like the facts change daily. I agree with that. Naomi says, CDC's blind leading the blind. Really you need to take your own health and take all measures possible to keep yourself healthy. I can't disagree with that. I mean, there's just no way to disagree with that. Yeah, pandemics take at least a couple years before they decline. Listen, will they find something that'll, cure this, slow it down, fix whatever? I'm sure. I mean, there's enough great, smart people all over the world, trying to figure this out. But until that time happens, or until we get to some sort of an area or time that, we can say, okay, it's safe to go back in the water.
Hey, man, you're preaching to the choir. I've had this issue with the medulla oblongata since '86. I picked that thing up on Second Hall. And it's been with me ever since.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's tough.
Yeah,
it's
it just is
day by day.
So
it's day by day.
You said it starting the show. Our thoughts and prayers are with the parents, the teachers, the faculty, the kids, caregivers at home, whoever that's involved. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, and certainly, take the most precautions that you can. I think you pointed out a while ago, the heat was supposed to kill this thing.
That's what they said.
That certainly hadn't happened.
I tell you, one of the things that and I'm not making light of a very serious situation, I'm not, but I have a chance to go back and kind of comprehend and process, some of the best practice guidelines that have been sent down from the AHSAA or the AEA or whatever it is. And Coach Herbert was sitting here, sharing the information he had received. And the best practice that they had received in terms of guidelines for coming away or going to and coming back from an away game is roll the windows down. And I think that's comical.
It is comical. Roll the windows down.
To the seat, roll the windows down, and that's your best shot, man. Good luck.
I mean, it's just it is
best practices.
Yeah, that is. Listen, okay. And PGP says because they need social interaction, some kids cannot and will not learn at home. Hey, that's great, and I understand we need to socialize. We're, as DJ has said many times, we're social people. I've
said from the onset of this that I was as concerned about the mental health and the mental issues that would come out of this as much so as the physical. I can tell you I've slipped.
Sure. But let me say this. I'd rather be working with somebody on some mental health issues than worrying about going and preparing a funeral.
It's a mess. This is nothing short of a mess.
Yeah. I mean, it is. And I mean, that's just, I wish there was a way to do classes, like half the classes meet every other day and rotate the grades. That would ease a little of the burden, maybe. Yeah, I mean, great idea, for sure. Timmy Wiggins, the main fact is they need to limit exposure and not make everyone expose their loved ones at this time, especially. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue any of that because it just is what it is. But, you know, we can sit here and solve all these problems all we want. I guess the best thing about us is I say best, we're not in the position of having to make these decisions like people are.
It's much easier to sit on this side of it and offer counter opinions or ideas or suggestions, but when you have to sit in the seat and make the call, that's a tough place to be.
It is. and let's be real honest. And I think we've seen this all over the world, especially all over this country. When you put money involved with anything like this, there are going to be decisions made based off of money.
Well, college football is the best example. It's $1 billion a year business. A billion with a B. $1 billion.
A B.
With a B.
With a B.
So, I mean,
that's 9 zeros, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, people get whacked for less than that.
Sure.
$1 billion business. So you tell me what is going to be a component thrown into the mix when they're making decisions.
We all know what that is.
Yeah.
It's money. You know, I mean, it's just a fact. Schools aren't like Vegas. What happens there comes home to spouses, friends, business associates, etc. I mean, that's a fact. You know, I mean, you listen. I'm glad we're not in the position to have to make these difficult decisions. But at the same time, I think we're echoing what a lot of people out there feel right now.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt that.
You know, and if we're wrong, we're wrong. You know, but hey, you know, everybody's got a poll. Everybody's got an opinion.
Everybody's got one.
Everybody's got one. So you know, it is what it is. So you know, we forget to do this from time to time. I say from time to time, probably more than time to time. I know we mentioned Tracy Steele had a birthday over the weekend. I wanted to look and see if there was anybody. I'm going to tell you something. You know who's got a birthday today? Miss Carolyn Curtright.
Happy birthday, Miss Curtright.
You remember Miss Curtright, don't you?
I know who Miss Curtright is. She lives right down the road from me.
Yeah. You remember Pickle Barrel.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Let's see here. Who else?
Can I say something completely random?
Please
While
do.
we're in O'Bannon Park this morning?
Yes, please do.
And in addition to the many great memories of playing down there and watching others play and just being down there and fellowship and enjoying the good times, when I look at these bleachers, not the set directly behind us, the far set, my sister, she was probably 6 or 7 at the time, found a wallet full of money. And I saw her in there earlier. It was Dr. Peters' wallet. Dr. Peters was so appreciative of getting his wallet back with the cash. I can't remember how much money was in it, but it was quite a bit. He took her to Leon's and bought her 3 dresses. Yeah.
Painless Peters.
Yeah. He took her to Leon's and bought her 3 dresses. I don't know if Miss Peters is still in, but I remember that. His wallet had fallen out of his back pocket up under the bleachers. And I'd sent Molly down there for some popcorn or something, whatever it was.
I can't believe that.
But she walked away with a wallet, and she returned it to Dr. Peters, and he was kind enough to take her to Leon's and buy her 3 dresses.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. You're talking about some old school Bruton right there, Leon's.
Yep. That happened.
Jack O'Neill.
That's a fact.
Leon's.
That happened.
They used to be all over the place.
Yep.
Ours was up there where, movie gallery it became that after,
Yep.
like later on. What is that place called now that's
It's
in that
something
building?
with home health.
Yeah,
along those lines, but I
can't-
can't remember what it's called.
I can't think of the name of it either.
Medicines or I can't remember.
I'm trying to. Anyway, yeah, I think that's right. Let's see here. Trying to see if we had any more. Do you eat onions?
I like sauteed or cooked onions.
And
I like them fried.
supposedly, salmonella outbreak has stretched across 34 states,
Great.
has infected 400 people, is linked to red onions.
Well, great.
I'm not trying to get on the bad. I'm just saying, I don't eat onions.
Miss Peters remembers it.
How about that? I don't eat onions, so I don't have to worry about that. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw my post that I made yesterday. But I meant what I said. I think that in the year 2020, we can all thank ABC for their show 2020.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
They've been promoting all this chaos for years.
It is. It really has. I mean, when you kind of hit the rewind button, it's just been wild. I mean, it's
Man.
surreal. I mean, is this really happening?
I'm
And it's happening every day.
I'm going to tell you something. At the end of 2020, every year they have these shows and they'll do like these highlights from the year.
Yeah.
That would take up the whole damn show, wouldn't it?
It's
I mean,
just,
if you call it highlights,
Yeah.
it'd be more like
it's wild.
lowlights. But I'm saying it would take
wild.
up the whole show.
It is wild.
I mean, it just would. It's been a wild year. Let's see here. I was trying to find. Let's see here. Did you see the post about the rare blue lobster that was saved from consumption after a Red Lobster employee found
Good
it
Lord.
in a delivery to the Cuyahoga Falls restaurant?
No, I missed that one.
The rare creature named Claude was sent to an Ohio zoo. About 1 out of every 2 million lobsters is blue. The blue shell is due to a genetic anomaly. Is that crazy?
That's crazy.
I mean, but hey, I guess
Red Lobster.
somebody was observant, caught it, for sure.
I'd have thrown him in the pot.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought nothing about it. I mean, I wouldn't have thought about it. I mean, I'd have just thrown in the pot and boiled that thing up. Let's see here. Has anybody ever come forward on that ticket in Century that was sold?
I didn't see where they had.
I didn't either. I just remember you had posted about that. So, no winner Saturday night for the Powerball. This Wednesday's drawing will be for a $147 million jackpot or a $121.2 million cash payout.
Big money.
Big money. Let's see. Hot Rod said he always fell down that step going into Leon's. Remember that step?
I don't remember the step.
I don't either. Ashley said she was afraid we were going to hear DJ's fondest under the bleacher memory. How about that? Yeah. Went school shopping there every year, Wanda Green says. About Leon's. Doug O'Bar. Hershey Kisses have become his best friend over the last few months. I can see where that could happen.
Oh, yeah.
They're hard. Listen, they're hard to stop eating.
Man.
It's kind of like a boiled peanut. Can you quit eating those things? Do you like boiled peanuts?
I love boiled peanuts.
Yeah, I do too. And they're hard to stop. Fish and chips.
Darren's brother is a mess.
He's on it, man. He's on it. Yeah, no doubt. Connie B, does it turn red when you steam it? I don't know. I wonder if that thing comes to the table blue.
I don't know. It's going to get ate, whatever, if it does.
You're not going to look at it that long, is what you're saying? Me either. I wouldn't be worried about that as well. Let's see here. I wanted to try to find.
Well, Tanya says Zebedee Bry's in the house. Good
There
morning,
you go.
Zeb.
Good morning, Zeb. I wanted to find Here we go. How about this? Georgia Crest will love this. You know what today is?
Monday?
It's National Georgia Day.
Wow, there you go. Yeah, she will.
How about that?
And she should.
National Georgia Day.
How about that?
Salute, Georgia. It's also National Watermelon Day.
I would celebrate that. I like watermelon. I like the red meat. I don't care for the yellow.
You don't like the yellow?
Uh-uh.
You know, I'm kind of indifferent about that. I mean, I will. I want. I mean, I'm not going to go like seek out one to eat. But I mean, if it is, it is. I hate to even tell this next one, but I got to. It's also National Grab Some Nuts Day.
When in Rome. Man, we had almost made it. We had almost made it. God.
Where do they come up with this stuff from?
Miss Diane's going to kill you.
I'm sorry. I said I didn't know if I even wanted to read it, but I mean, it just is what it is.
We almost made it.
Man, that is. You can't make this stuff up, man. I mean, you just, you know, how does that happen? Who sat down and came up with that? I mean, who did? I don't know. I mean, you know, I don't know where that stuff comes from. Miss Carol says not many people at Jennings Park this morning.
People moving around a little slow this Monday morning.
Well, I wondered, but think about it. I mean, you got, people, somewhat starting back to school and that kind of thing. And, I think people are kind of getting ready for that. And, so, salty. Oh, man. I'll tell you. Listen, I would put it on the screen just where everybody understands. It's I didn't make it up. It is what it is. I mean, Doug, the professor says pistachios. I'll tell you what, I do love some pistachios.
Well, they're tasty.
Those things are hard to quit eating too.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of the red ones. I don't know what the difference is, but I'm just not a big fan of them. Yeah. King Kane. I'll tell you what. Just King Kane is always going to get in there.
The king.
Yeah. Hey, that's right, Ashley. We report, and you can take your own from there. Jack Sweaty.
What time is it?
Oh, it's about a quarter till the top of the hour.
Are we up against a hard break? By any chance, please?
Actually, we're not, but
Jack Schweddy.
No wonder Mr. Salty carried a stick.
Oh my goodness gracious!
I wonder if he had some salve too. Good morning, Jeff Wilson. Oh, Cuz is in.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
We always look forward to Jeff being in and dropping game on us, spitting game, whatever you want to call it. Went from a family friendly to Adult Swim in about 0.0 or 0.1 seconds.
It's quick. God Lord.
What does Wade think about that, Sergeant? a lot of people enjoy a handful of nuts when they play cornhole.
The board game.
Wait a minute. Compliments of Miss Amanda O'Gwen. How about that? We have one in-house. We're trying to lighten this thing back up. And it
Why don't you, we need to call 4391 and get the weather report.
We need to set that up one day and see how it works.
That was very nice of
It was.
Amanda.
It certainly was. Yeah. Do we want to do we want to try to get the weather report? Is that what you're saying?
I
you think it'd be a good time for that?
I think it'd be a great idea. I think it'd be a great idea to get the weather.
I mean, listen, man. All I can tell you is that I did not make that up. Look it up. I assure you, it is what it is. But let's see what Trustmark has to say about it.
Purchasing a home can be stressful. Let us help you reduce the stress with a low fixed-rate mortgage loan. Equal Housing Lender.
Today's date is Monday, August 3rd. Trustmark Bank time, 8:46. The current temperature, 83. The Bruton area weather, mostly sunny, then scattered thunderstorms today, high near 92. Partly cloudy and warm tonight, low near 72. Thank you for calling.
Well, there you go.
That helped.
Yeah. So there's your weather report, brought to you by the robot man who's been giving it out for how long has that been going?
A long time.
How long has that been going?
A long time.
Does anybody know? And Yoda, I'm sure, Connie B, aka Yoda, I'm sure she making. She might know this and probably does.
40 plus years for sure.
At least.
40 plus I know of.
Yeah, at least. At least. But that thing's been going for a long time. I mean, without a doubt.
And he's been right half the time.
Well, yeah. I mean, think about it. That's the only profession in the world that if you're never right, you still get to keep a job.
Yeah.
Because it's a forecast, which means we'd have no idea except what we see and think due to these patterns. I'm not saying they're not educated people. I don't mean that. I mean, I don't mean that at all. I'm saying, but, they just can get up and say, hey, it's going to be this today, and it's going to be that.
Do you think, and I like to participate, if you said, according to what you read, that today is what? In addition to being National Georgia Day, what else is it?
Okay, I want to make sure I get this right.
Yeah.
So hold on and let me back up and let me look, because I don't want to say this thing wrong, because if I do, I know where it's going to go. And yeah. I don't want to go there.
You read it as the service sent it to you.
Yes. This is absolutely, and I'll show it to you. Hold on. You look right there. What does it say right there?
Well, I'd rather you say it.
Okay. It is National Grab Some Nuts Day.
And we can screenshot that and post it on the Drive Time page to validate that that is exactly what it is.
We absolutely can. And matter of fact, I will.
Okay. Well, with it being, with today being what it is, and trying to make that theme oriented.
Okay.
Am I outside the lines by saying today it's going to be hot as balls?
I want you and that young man to tie that knot. I'm gonna pray for you. And I want you to hold on to God's unchanging hand.
I'm just asking a question.
Fight the battle.
You know,
of
I'm trying to
Jericho.
participate.
Yes.
And acknowledge.
Help Daniel get out the lion's den. Help your girl get off the island. Lord.
Please, man.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not gonna be able to talk.
I've got a headache.
Oh,
Did it get hot in here?
yes. Oh my Lord. Oh, let's see. Hold on. Let's see here. Now I just posted what exactly.
Well, there it is.
There it is. So everybody can see we didn't just make this up. This is exactly what went down and how it went down. And as you can see, there it is.
There it is. I mean,
I don't know what else to say. You know, other than you can take that for what it's worth. Karen Peters says it was about 1963.
with Bank Brute. There you go.
Yeah.
Good information. Yeah.
So, you know, there you go. The professor said censorship. You know, yeah. Connie B said that's a relative assessment.
Well, I mean, trying to recognize.
Yeah, I mean, it you know, again, I you know, it just is what it is. And I put that in there where everybody can understand and know that we just don't make this stuff up and put it out there. We just don't do that. We don't do it.
Just read the news.
Yeah, we're just putting it out there as it is.
Whatever comes across the teleprompter gets read.
Yeah. Where everybody can
Stay classy, Bruton.
Yeah, stay classy. You know, we do. we try to keep it between the well, let me take that back. I'm not I was going to make that statement, but I don't know that we do. So we how about that? Yeah. How about that? Georgia Day and National. I mean, I could think of a lot of things that could come out of that. A lot.
Hey. Hey.
Oh, look. And you knew she was sitting there on G waiting on O ready for that. You know what I'm saying? I can't believe she didn't say it sooner, Georgia, honestly. I can't believe it took that long. Wanda Green, you're right. This is why this is the best, worst show ever.
No doubt.
No doubt. It just is what it is. Man. You know, sometimes things just happen, and when they do, you know, you just have to you just have to take a step back for just a second and realize that, you know, maybe you didn't mean for it to be that way, but that's just the way that it came out. And hey,
it just started off so nice being in O'Bannon Park for the first time in years, and it just kind of went from there.
Yeah. I don't think we didn't mean for it to.
Never do.
It just how does it work out that way, DJ? I mean,
bad luck.
Is it our fault? Is it bad? I mean,
I think that you consistently bring out the worst in me.
Okay. That's fair.
and I feed off of it,
Yeah.
and it just kind of goes from there.
I mean, that's fair. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say you're wrong. I don't even know what to say about that. Really, I mean, it's just one of those things that.
The good news is we're closing in on the top of the hour.
Yeah, the good news is we're coming up on a hard break, which means hard stop, which means thank the Lord, because after the last 15 or 20 minutes, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be able to talk.
Cue the music.
I mean, it's but now you listen, all in good fun.
Always.
All in good fun. We're it just is what it is, and we're not we just what'd you say? We just read the news as it comes across the teleprompter.
Let's read the news.
And that it?
That's it. Thank God. Tell you what, if you think we were bad today, you just wait till tomorrow. We will be awful tomorrow. That's a guarantee. Tomorrow's show will be worse than the one the day before. Appreciate everybody being in. Hope you have a great day. Hope you choose to celebrate.
You better celebrate. If you don't do anything else, you better celebrate.
Everybody be safe, be kind, and if you have some time to waste tomorrow, get back in here and we'll do it all over again. Y'all have a good one. Love y'all.